All right, we're recording. Hi.
Oh, hi there, Armin. How are you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, not too
So,
bad. Not too bad.
so we wanted to see if Harris Sultan is racist or not, right? You wanted to discuss that.
No, no. Actually, I think basically, I think it's important to have a. We could do that another time, but I think it's important to reflect upon basically what's happened over the past couple of weeks between myself and Harris. And I'm not here to bash him today, honestly. That's not what I'm here to do. But I think it provides us with an important case study and introspection.
Well, what's
By
your
the
main?
ex-Muslim community.
You made an accusation, a couple of accusations against Harris. What is the main accusation?
Okay, so my main accusation against Harris, and just generally, I think, is in relation to that initial conversation we had, where he, he's told me to shut up, and I responded by calling him human excrement, and he took me off the
You called
show.
him. You called him a
Uh,
human excrement.
yes, or
Why?
excrement,
Okay.
because he told me to shut up, so that's why.
Did you
And
do
I've got.
something? Did you, before he told you to shut up, did you said something? Did you say something? I mean, he told me to shut up. He told me to shut up today on the show a couple of times. I didn't call him a human feces or anything like that.
Yeah, but what was his response? That's the when I said that. How did he respond to that? And I think that's the important part of it. So he said
I think you take it you take it very personally. Like today, when we were fighting with him, when I was fighting back and forth with Harris Sultan over research, a couple of times he told me to shut up. I didn't take it personally. I think you took it very too personally.
But I don't think he said the words "shut up." But in any case, my response he took. Oh, I don't know if he did or not, but all right. So at 2:13:15, within that live stream, he said if he was in my face, he wouldn't have the same face, right? So that's an implicit threat to assault me, essentially, right?
Is that really a threat to assault you, or is that, I don't know, because, or is it just because he's never going to meet you and you both know that, right?
No, I said no. It's a threat to assault. So I mean, whether or not it happens in real life, what he would have done had I been in front of him, that's another question altogether. But I think,
threat
for example,
is like something you know that he's not gonna actually come find you and physically harm you, and you know that that's not what he meant by that.
But
this is just tough talk.
No.
That's just
but
tough talk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree to an extent. But had I have been there in his face and I had called him that, then we can't. We don't know what he's thinking.
Toxic
we can only base it on what he's said. But I think this is the case study. Now, say for example, you or Harris or someone else within the ex-Muslim community was having a conversation with, let's say, Ali Dawa or Muhammad Hijab. And
I mean, okay, here's the thing. You're missing a whole bunch of this. You constantly accuse the man of racism, and
where did I accuse him of racism? Where did I accuse him of racism? In that conversation? Go on then. Tell me which time point.
No, in that conversation, you have a history of jumping to conclusions when it comes to what Harris is saying and taking.
Can you give me an example?
No.
Okay.
No, they exist. I remember they exist. Do you want me to know, like, I say at this time you said exactly this? Do you want me to have that? Like, I didn't conduct a research and timestamps and exact wordings of the things you said before I recorded
listen,
this.
I'm not
know
here.
they happen. Just because
listen.
that's not fair. Like, that's a really not a good tactic that you're using, right? Can you give me an example? Like, do you really think, like, just because I haven't written down the exact timestamp and exact wording of what you said, that means that it didn't happen? Like,
listen, I'm not attacking you. Listen, why are you taking things so personally? I just don't understand. Like, I'm not going after you or Harris. No,
Wait
what
a
I'm
second.
saying
What
is
am I taking? Hold on. I am questioning your. I am talking to you, and I'm questioning the things you're saying. Why do you think I'm taking it personally? Why do
no,
you? You're
because
not. You're
the way
saying
the way you reacted it was like, oh, I can't go. But I'm not
you're like
asking you to do.
you.
I never asked you. I never. No, hold on a second. I never asked you to go through a timestamp and find. I didn't meant say any of
I know.
that. And then, but you,
I know, but you're
then you.
saying I am
Can you
telling
provide me
you
with
that
one example?
no. I said I can't right now. Maybe you should. Maybe you want me to go spend time finding them, and then when I said no, you're like no, as if that proves anything. And then you said, "Why are you taking it so personally? I'm not coming after you." When did I say you're coming after me? Did I think? Did I say you're coming after me? Did
No,
I?
no, but the
Can
way
you
you're.
provide me? Can you provide me with an example of when I said that you're
No,
coming after me personally? No,
hold
right?
on. Listen. I'm not here to attack you, my friend. Honestly, like you
Why
think
are you
this, I'm
saying
attacking you here. Look, you're doing
why?
it now. Like you're saying, why? When are you said this? When are you? I'm not attacking you, my friend. I'm just
You're not
trying to
listening.
have a conversation.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not listening. Do you want
Go
me
on,
to repeat that? Okay.
go on, go
You're
ahead. Yeah.
saying you keep saying I'm not here to attack you. When did I claim that you're attacking me? For you to
It
have
just
to
feels like
clarify that.
the way you're responding to me that you feel like you're being attacked. Like I don't have to go through
That's how
every
I
single time.
speak.
Well, this is what
That's
you
how
think. This is what.
you consume my content. This is how I speak.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
Right.
okay. Can we move
Okay.
on to the next point? Okay, but no, but I'm just saying, regardless of what you think I'm accusing Harris of,
Right.
whatever, if let's say Mohammed Hijab or Ali Dawa or someone else prominent within the within the Muslim community, if they had said to you or Harris or anyone else within the ex-Muslim community, if they said in a conversation with you, if he was in my face, he wouldn't have the same face. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think would be made of that? Do you think people would be running to Twitter and telling people to cancel these guys? It would be massive furore within the ex-Muslim community over them saying such a thing, I believe. What do you think?
I mean, they have said that Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa. Um, I don't. I mean, I don't see those things as direct threats. But maybe I'm wrong.
I don't
If,
think they've said a direct threat at all. I don't think
so
Mohammed Hijab said anything of that nature.
no.
Yeah,
Like
go on.
they have. So, for example, if Ali Dawa said, like, if you said that in my face, I will smash your face. Okay. I don't see that as a threat. But if they said, like, oh, go find Armin and do this and this and that, I would see that as a threat, as a direct
Yeah.
threat. But
Okay,
like,
but
if people like, again, I don't condone this. I don't like. To me, it's all just not like, even the one that I don't see as a direct threat, I don't condone it. I think it's like cringe, masculine tough talk, like alpha male, like, oh, chest beating, I'm strong, I would crush you if I could, if you were in front of me, kind of behavior. I still think it's disgusting, right? But I think it's more of a intimidation tactic and a show of strength, because it's not. It doesn't mean it, here. If I said, I will find you, okay, and then this, and I'm not going to say the actual word because YouTube might think I'm saying something that I'm not, right? But if I said I will find you and then A, B, and C, that's a threat, okay. But if I said, if you were in front of my face right now, I would do this, that's not a threat because you're not in front of my face, so that's not going to happen. Do you understand the difference? It's
no,
still
I
bad. It's still
totally,
disgusting.
yeah.
It's still disgusting. I still find it gross and disgusting, but for other reasons other than the fact that is a threat. So if you want me to say, like, do I condone Harris saying that I would smash your face and stuff? I don't think it's a threat, but I still think it's vile. I still think it's disgusting, right?
And in the UK, that would be what he said there would be against actually criminal law with potential. It would
Well,
actually
that's
be
not.
against criminal law.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to talk about? Because I thought I didn't. I thought we are going to talk about his your accusation of him being racist, because I think those are unfounded.
No,
But
no. I
in
mean,
UK,
we could, but I'm specifically the reason that I came up last week
You're
was to
saying in the
discuss.
UK. You're saying in the UK, if you tell somebody that if you were in front of me, your face would be look different, that would be a crime in the UK.
Potentially.
Potentially, because
Yeah,
I think
it could
very
be.
potentially, because I know Ali Davo has made more direct threats and nobody has arrested Ali Davo. So I have a hard
I don't
time
think he
believing.
has. I disagree with you. I've not seen or come across anything that would be considered a more direct threat than what Harry said from Ali Dawa.
What about Andrew Tate? Okay,
What about Andrew Tate?
wait, I left. Whether this is because Andrew Tate has said things that I consider direct threats as well. But anyways, whether this is legal or not, I don't. I'm not a lawyer, and even if I was a lawyer, I was need to be a lawyer within the UK for me to check the legality. But I was like thinking about like the morality of it rather than legality, because you need a law degree to be able to decide that. Is that what you want to discuss? Do you want to check whether what Harris Sultan said is
No.
illegal based on in different jurisdictions?
No, I think that would be a waste of our time going through all of that. But I have a legal background, by the way. I used to be a solicitor, not in criminal law, personal injury.
Okay.
But it's
well, is it
it's a different
against the
thing.
law in Australia? Because where he said it was he was in Australia. So
Australia follows British common law.
wait, that doesn't okay? So you know law and you don't understand that the laws are different. Even if Canada is British common law, we have different laws in
I
the
agree.
UK.
We have different laws, but the majority of the laws are the same because they follow precedents, and precedents is
Yeah.
based on
Okay, but in
the
the
majority
UK,
of the laws set.
police comes and to your house for hate speech, and in Canada they don't. Right?
That might be the case. Yeah.
Yeah. So
In
in
Canada,
Canada,
they don't.
yeah,
All right.
they don't.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
yeah. So I don't know what's happening in Australia, but we have to check. Anyways, what else do you wanted to say? Yeah, like
But
do
I
you
wanted
want
to.
to?
Yeah, I wanted to say. So the reaction to, for example, if Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawah were to say something similar, I think it shows a certain amount of hypocrisy from the ex-Muslim community, because I can remember when I think Ali Dawah mentioned something. I mean, it wasn't even a threat. It was something about AP's wife and whatnot, and people were saying that the Metropolitan Police should be informed, and this and that and the other.
Yeah,
And do
I
you remember that?
understand the difference. The difference actually makes complete sense to me, right?
Go on.
So, for example, let's say you're black, okay, right? And I said to you that I'm gonna come and smash your face, and we have good reason to believe that has something to do with you being black, okay? That probably will get a much bigger reaction than if I had to do with you owing me money. Do you agree? Like, let's say you
Yeah, I
owed me
agree.
money. Okay. So the threats that you saw with the Prophet's wife had to do with Muhammad hijab being Muslim and speaking from an Islamic perspective towards a woman, of a wife of somebody who's an ex-Muslim. So it's not just the threat that matters; it's the threat represents being a representative of a much bigger societal problem that makes people highlight it more.
So Harris has accused me of being a fake ex-Muslim, so he thinks I am a Muslim. So I could make that same argument. So this is coming from the perspective of a Muslim. From an
but would that
ex-Muslim
fly? How much would that fly?
What do you mean?
Like how much a narrative gets viral or not depends on how believable or sympathetic that narrative is. And I'm just given your history of lie online mentioning everybody that you're ex-Muslim, I just don't think that people, like, a lot of it is people being sympathetic and that part being part of a bigger narrative and part of being a problem. I just don't think that you coming like, well, according to Harris, I'm a Muslim, so I don't think that will just emotionally affect people as much as whether you were, if you were.
Okay, sure, that might be the case. But do you think that ex-Muslims should do more as a community to hold people to account, especially prominent members within the community, people who have
if
YouTube channels and advocates.
if you were actually a Muslim, okay, and Harris came and said that he's going to smash your face, and we had good reason to believe that it was because you were a Muslim, okay, then there better be a backlash, and I can almost guarantee that there would be. Like, I'm pretty sure there would be enough Muslims that would want to highlight that. So I think that would go viral.
But do you think the ex-Muslim community should be doing more? That's the question.
I mean, if you're a Muslim, yeah. If you're a Muslim, and not just if you're a Muslim, if you're a Muslim and it had something to do with you being a Muslim, what he said.
Okay, but okay, fair enough. I understand that point. And I agree with what you said. But even if as an ex-Muslim, and you have a prominent member of the ex-Muslim community who has a YouTube channel and followers, etc., do you think there should be more done to hold someone to account for saying something like that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit, but not that much, because maybe it was maybe I could say to him that, yeah, that kind of talk is not cool, but I don't think, because I don't see it as a direct threat, I just would tell him, like, yeah, that was gross, the way you talk. I will just confront him with that. If you want, I could confront him with that, right? But I don't think it's that big of a deal, because it's not because if it was a threat that people believe that it was a threat, if it was an actual threat, I think, like, there would be a much bigger backlash even within our live stream. Like, I don't think people believed it as a threat. Like, you know how people, men sometimes talk that is not a threat. If I say to you, if it was a genuine threat, I think there would be, even at that moment, there would be a bigger backlash.
Well, I think it depends on the environment you're in. I mean, in some parts of the UK, if you say something like that to someone, you could get stabbed the next day for saying that.
Nobody even knows who you are.
Exactly. No, but that's from my perspective. But I'm just saying, if something like that, the wording that he said to me was said to someone else in the UK, and they knew who the two people are, that could lead to a stabbing. So I'm just specifically focusing on the wording he used.
I think you're stretching. I think that's a stretch. I think that's a stretch.
You think so? I don't think so. I mean, I've seen you should go to London and see what people get stabbed for. But in any case, let's move on from that topic. I want to quickly ask you briefly, how well do you think the English language ex-Muslim community is doing at the moment?
English speaking, it's not that big of a deal, but non-English is growing more than ever.
I agree, but in the English language, why do you think it's not growing?
Because Islam is not a main topic right now within the English-speaking world, but it is a main topic in other communities right
now. Okay, but like, for example, we have in the English-speaking world, we have a large ex-Muslim community. For example, 22% of US-born Muslims have left Islam. And even other countries in the English-speaking world, there's a large, significant percentage of people who have left Islam. Why do you think they don't tune into these ex-Muslim channels? What do you think?
No, right now, Islam is not a big topic. Islam becomes big topics when something major relating to Islam happens, right? For example, if there's a terrorist attack, right? So like after 9/11, a lot of these anti-Islamic movements grew, and then another thing and also after ISIS became a thing, right? That really made Islam a hot topic, right? And you will probably have in the future where ex-Muslims topic become hot again in the future as well, because Islam is not going away and it will have significant cost to society again, right? So I think it's just depends on what's hot right now, right? But I know in Persian and in Arabic, ex-Muslim movement is still extremely hot, because Islam is affecting their lives more than the English-speaking world. It's only natural to expect why English-speaking world only pays attention to ex-Muslims from time to time, because they're not affected by Islam as much as Iranians or Pakistanis or Arab or Indonesian or Malaysian people are, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. But counter to that, I mean, why do you think? So we haven't seen much related. You see a lot of conversions to Islam during that period as well. Do you know, when you see like a massive, because people look into the faith, etc., and whatnot. However, one of the things I've noticed
But
is
the
that
conversion, but the conversions out of Islam is more than the conversions into
yeah, I
Islam.
agree. I agree. Yeah, as a direct result of those events as well. Yeah. People look into the faith, more likely to look into faith and leave it as well. But have you noticed, even though the focus isn't on Islam,
But
the ex-Muslim,
by the way,
the
I just
Muslim
want to
channel.
after
Yeah.
you finish all the points, I do want to
Yeah.
come back to your accusations of racism on Harris. Just
Okay.
wanted to let
Sure.
you know that. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I want to. So basically, the growth of Muslim channels. Why do you think Muslim channels are growing so quickly in recent times and growing in prominence? What do you think that is?
Well, because there was a gap. There's just so many Muslims in the world, and there wasn't not enough content. There wasn't much content for them, right? So the content, English speaking content that existed in the English speaking world, did not really represent how many English speaking Muslims were out there. So that gap is being filled.
But a lot of their content is being watched by non-Muslims now as well. If you go look at the comment section, it's full of people who say, "I'm not a Muslim." Why do you think that is?
Well, because it's interesting. It's very interesting. Also, because again, a lot of people in the English speaking world are exposed to Muslims and are exposed. That gap, when I'm saying there's a gap between English speaking, the number of Muslims that are out there in the English speaking world, and the content that is relevant to that, includes non-Muslims. Okay, because they're constantly, especially religious non-Muslims, right? Because they're constantly exposed to Islam, but there's not enough content, wasn't enough content by Muslims that was addressing their curiosity. Also, there's another thing that is happening that is helping this, is that liberalism it has taken over. So the discourse and media everywhere, right? And a lot of conservatives and religious people are feeling more and more isolated and alienated, right? And it used to be that the Christians had felt that they have enough Christian support and enough Christian media and enough Christian communities to be a counterweight to this liberal, all these liberal narratives that becoming so normalized and taking over all discourses and education and entertainment everywhere, right? And but now the Christians are feeling like they are few in number and they have less power than before. So allying just with Christians doesn't seem like to be enough. There just seems to it feels more like that more than before. That is, it's not Christians versus liberals, it's conservatives versus liberals, and you will go with whatever kind of conservative that you could get. So far right people and Christian conservatives and Muslim conservatives are finding allies within each other against against the takeover of liberalism.
I agree. I do agree with you on that one. Did you recently watch the True Geordie podcast between True Geordie and Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawa?
No, what does it say? What did they say?
This is a 2 million subscriber channel, right? And True Geordie was someone who a couple of weeks ago, I think he said something like Andrew Tate should be a real Muslim and should basically blow himself up. And he had a bit of a large pushback against that. and he invited Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa onto that channel. And this was 3 weeks ago. They had a video with the three of them. That video has had 734,000 views. Yeah. Okay. And 2 months ago, True Geordie had a interview with Jordan Peterson, and that had 599,000 views.
Okay.
Why do you think people like Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa are getting more views on a mainstream channel like True Geordie than Jordan Peterson, who has a much bigger audience? Yeah.
Your question is so bizarre. Have you not noticed that Islam is the second most largest religion in the world, soon to become the largest religion in the world? To me, that your shock is shocking, because when I look at how much audience is for Muslim channels, I am surprised of how little there is compared to what there should be. Like I constantly think, like, given how many Muslims are out there and how much of a growing religion this is, what we're saying seems to be less than what you would expect. I mean, Christianity is weaker than ever, and Islam is, is stronger. And people, it's not just the numbers; it's also how attached Muslims are to Islam compared to how Christians are to Christianity. Okay, and how loyal. I mean, you've seen in the World Cup, right? Do you see? Here's an example. Okay, do you see UK citizens cheering on France because France is a Christian country?
No, they were supporting Morocco most. Yeah.
Right. But you see Muslim countries supporting Morocco because Morocco is a Muslim country. Yeah. That level of solidarity, you don't see that in Christian. So you could see the level of unity and backing each other and loyalty to the religion and the level of sensitivity they have over these topics. Okay. And how many of them there are. And then you're wondering why Islam, it's not about Muhammad Hijab. Okay. Like, I'm surprised that there's only like handful of big content. Like, who do we have as content creators that get millions of views? We have Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa. I'm surprised like Daniel Haigaju is not like, doesn't create videos that gets millions of views. Like, given that how many Muslims we only have these two guys that create content that big. Here's the reason. Wait. Here's the reason why Muhammad Hijab needs to be, like, based on data, should be much bigger than Jordan Peterson. What does Jordan Peterson represent? Jordan Peterson represents Jordan Peterson. He doesn't represent Christianity. He doesn't represent Islam. He doesn't represent conservatism. The brand of Jordan Peterson is Jordan Peterson. What does Muhammad Hijab represent? Muhammad Hijab represents Islam. And he's one of the few content creators that is that big and represents Islam. It's mind-blowing to me that he's not like getting millions of views all the time. Of course, Muhammad Hijab has to be bigger than Jordan Peterson. I'm surprised that he's not yet bigger than Jordan Peterson.
I think the reason why is because it's in the English language. So if you look at the in other languages, some of the guys have a massive following, especially on Twitter. They're huge. Like some of the Saudi sheikhs have like 15-20 million subscribers on Twitter followers. So I think it is based on the
Muslims is huge. We're talking United States, Canada, UK, Australia, India. Okay, we're talking all these countries combined. You think like all the Muslims in all these countries combined, if they're interested in Islam, okay, the main channels are just a few. Like they don't have much competition. Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa, they're the two biggest ones. They don't have much competition, right? So they're sharing a big pie among they're sharing a giant pie among only a few YouTubers.
And by the way, the biggest ex-Muslim YouTuber is actually bigger than all of them, isn't he? Hamza.
No. Hamza is not an ex-Muslim YouTuber. Hamza is an ex-Muslim that happens to be a YouTuber.
Yeah,
The
that's what I
biggest
meant. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the biggest ex-Muslim YouTuber is Apostate Prophet. Here's the thing about ex-Muslims, okay? Ex-Muslims are not necessarily most ex-Muslims don't have an ex-Muslim identity, okay? Most Muslims have a Muslim identity. Most ex-Muslims have just given up on Islam and they're doing other things. They're not, but they don't. They're not actual. They're not. They are ex-Muslims by definition, but they're not ex-Muslims by identity. Okay.
Yeah, no,
So
I agree. I agree.
okay. So
That's a
you
good thing.
can't
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a good thing. So if you want to actually take ex-Muslims and compare them to Muslims, you can look at all ex-Muslims. The community of, if you are an ex-Muslim YouTuber, and you are trying to appeal to ex-Muslims, the only ex-Muslims that you're appealing to is the few fraction of ex-Muslims that are ex-Muslim by definition, and also ex-Muslim by identity.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
which is a small community.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Do you know that Hamza, by the way? Remember when we last checked him, he had 900,000 subscribers, something like that. That guy has now 1.37 million. So within 2 months,
he's
grown
a red
by.
pill incel. He producing crap.
Do you know what he? Do you know what he? A video that he produced 13 years ago. He said, "Why I've started reading the Quran."
But here's the thing: your measure of success is really off. Okay.
Go on.
I mean, you are. I'd rather see a YouTuber that is producing good content with less of an audience than somebody that is producing poison and has a big audience.
Yeah, but no, I agree. It doesn't matter the size of the audience. I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
even based on Islamic standards, okay, even based on Islamic standards, I consider Daniel Haraju to be a bigger success than Muhammad Hijab, even though he has a much smaller audience.
Yeah,
because Muhammad Hijab is appealing to, toughness and, to being a strong man and also crushing the enemy and stuff like that, right? That's what people are there to see, okay? But if you want to see like a point by point breakdown of why something makes sense, and for somebody to provide a very accurate Islamic perspective of why different positions are correct or different positions are wrong, then the main person that I think you should go to as a Muslim is Daniel Hayraju, or even the person he disagrees with right now the most, Sajid Lipham, right? Sajid Lipham does a much better job in providing one Islamic perspective, even though it's one that Daniel Hayraju disagrees with, than Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dabo. Ali Dabo is the worst content creator when it comes to actually good content in Islam, but he's the best when it comes to audience. I mean, if you can see, look, it's actually the opposite of what it should be. Ali Dabo is bigger than Muhammad Hijab, and Muhammad Hijab is bigger than Daniel Hayraju. I mean, if you want to see quality content, it's actually the other way around. Daniel Hayraju is better than Muhammad Hijab, and Muhammad Hijab is better than Ali Dabo.
I agree, but I think the reason why people are attracted to Ali Dawah is he's a funny guy. He understands British humor.
But look at
people can relate.
Okay, but do you really want to measure success that way?
Maybe I was wrong. Did I say success? Did I say
no, that? But you didn't. But to me, it sounded like you're bragging about their numbers.
No. I'm just saying that they have such a large audience that they can influence. Whereas comparatively,
I mean, flies gather around shit. That doesn't mean it's so I don't know what you want to. No, I mean, I'm not saying. By the way, I'm not saying these people are flies. I'm just saying that I was mostly talking about. I was mostly comparing their content to. How about this? I mean, there's nothing wrong with flies. They're Allah's perfect creations.
But by the way, I mean, I think watch that podcast. I know it's 2.5 hours. Please watch it and try and look at it from the perspective of a layperson watching this, not as Armin Navabi going through it methodically, and see, like, would a layperson, how would they be influenced by this podcast, by this video? And I think it's really worth watching. I think
Is
it's
it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's True Geordie, TrueGeordie.
Okay.
By the way, I'm
Oh
absolutely
no, this
freezing. Do you
guy,
know? Yeah.
True Geordie.
Let's
That's
take-
like
yeah.
that seems like a dumb show to watch. Do I really have to watch? I don't want to watch this.
And it was an interesting conversation. It's really worth watching, and especially Ali Dawa when he comes in. It's probably you might as well just watch the last hour when Ali Dawa comes in, and do you know his life story by any chance? Do you know what happened?
I want
when
to
he
go
became
back to the main topic of this show.
Okay.
Your accusations of Harris Sultan, on why did you call him a racist?
Okay, 1 second. Can I put my coat back on? I'm freezing in my car. It's
Okay.
0 degrees here, and I haven't got the engine on. Can I just turn the look? All right, well, let me just put my coat on. 1 second. Sorry about the noise. Right, go ahead.
All right, you made a couple of accusations on Harris. You're suggesting that he has racist views against Pakistanis and Moroccans.
Let's discuss the email I sent to you with regard to the link of the video. So what did I say in that email? Do you remember?
No, but I can bring it up.
Yeah, you can. That's
okay,
fine.
you can try not to move around because it's very annoying.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yes. Okay. It says, what is your opinion of this video with Harris espousing ethno-nationalist views, saying people who riot, who are ethnically Moroccan, born and raised in Belgium, should have their citizenship revoked and deported? Yeah, that is very, very uncharitable.
Go for it. Can you explain why?
I'm sure right now, I have views, right, that ethno-nationalists also believe it. And it's just such an unfair tactic, because I know that Harris, for example, as soon as he didn't take, I thought it would take harder for me for him to be convinced, right? As soon as he considered that this will create a 2-tier system of citizenship based on race, he immediately dropped his position. Okay, Harris did. So I don't think ethno-nationalists are the type of people that would drop this position if you point this out to them, right?
Did I call him an ethno-nationalist? I said he was espousing ethno-nationalist views in that video.
That is
right.
That is the sneak. Exactly. That is, you know what that means, though. But that's a sneaky
No. Hold
way.
on a second. What's the definition of espousing?
Okay. That is trying to.
I'm not trying to label. I promise you. I sent you an email with a link to a video, and I said, "What do you think of this video?" Of him espousing ethno-nationalist views. And
let me just tell you, when you say that, for example, so and so is espousing ethno-nationalist views, okay, I know you're not technically calling them ethno-nationalists, okay, but you know what the perception of a statement like that, you know that, right?
I'm not calling Harris. I never intended to call him an ethno-nationalist, and I'm telling you here right now.
Yeah. Let me give you a tip then. Okay.
Go on.
If person A's views are wrong, you could explain why they're wrong without trying to suggest a closeness of that person's view with somebody that we all know that is disgusting and share similar views, right? For example, let me show you how ridiculous this sounds, even though you didn't say that, right? I believe in evolution, okay? Right? Nazis also believe in evolution, okay? It would be accurate for you to say What do you think about Armin espousing Nazi views, saying that evolution is a fact? Technically, everything I said here is correct. But do you see how ridiculous that sounds?
That's the most ridiculous comparison I can imagine. That it's not even equivalent. He in that video specifically,
No.
said
Before the video, I'm just talking about the principle, the way we talk, rather than that specific video, right? I'm just showing you. Do you agree? Okay, that this would be an accurate statement. Like, forget the example that we're comparing this to. I'm just talking about the way that you frame something. You see how it comes across as, even if it's technically accurate, right?
Yeah, sure.
It would be accurate of you to say that Armin is espousing Nazi views, that evolution is a fact. Everything about the statement is a fact,
sure.
Right?
Yeah,
right. But do you understand, when somebody says that, they're not, their intention is something other than mentioning that fact. It's pretty obvious, right? I mean, I'm not saying that was your intention. Okay, maybe it wasn't. But you can see that if you say that, well, Armin believes in evolution, you know who else believed in evolution? Nazis believed in evolution. Everything about these statements are actual facts. But you know what suggestion that person is making by putting these things next to each other. By comparing the view that I have with a discussing group that also has those views, they're making a suggestion beyond just mere statements of fact. So I know that your example is different, right? But I'm just saying that when you say espousing ethno-nationalist views, even though you're technically right, he had these views, ethno-nationalist people had these views, right? But you are putting him next to ethno-nationalists, and that as an audience, as somebody who's listening to this, they get the impression that you're suggesting that them and Harris in a position like ethno-nationalists. He has ethno-nationalist tendencies.
Do you know what the difference is? That video specifically was focusing on removing people's citizenship because of their ethnicity. So it has an impact on a group of people, right? So that video, the result of it would result in a two-tier system, right? If you were to remove someone's citizenship because of their race, that is a specific ethno-nationalist point. Do you understand? That point is something that ethno-nationalists hold as it's the most important, or one of the most important parts of their ideology. Yeah, is to remove citizenship from non-white people. Yeah.
Okay. Ethno-nationalists also believe in strong borders, right? That affects people's lives, right? I also believe in strong borders. I believe in migration, but also strong borders. Like, I believe in a lot of immigration, but also strong borders, right? And strong borders affect people's lives. So if I believe in strong borders, would you say that I'm espousing ethno-nationalist views?
No. The difference is removing someone's citizenship as because of their ethnicity is the most important point of an ethno-nationalist perspective, and then he espouses that perspective,
but he didn't.
Therefore, he's espousing.
But the main difference between Harris Sultan and ethno-nationalist is that Harris Sultan didn't like that idea because of the realization of the effect on people. Okay, but ethno-nationalists like that idea because of that effect. Do you understand? So that the difference between Harris Sultan and ethno-nationalists is more important than the similarity.
Yeah, but the point is, what impact does that video have on the audience that were watching it? Right? And you can go to the comments.
It has a great influence because he came out and he changed his mind, and people could see why he changed his mind.
Yeah, but he hasn't published that change of mind, has he, on his channel? He's only published the original video.
Well, wait, we streamed what we said on his channel. That was streaming on his channel.
And you can go to the comments section of that video.
No,
and you
but
can
he did
see how
publish
people
it
are
on his
responding.
channel. We were streaming it on his channel.
Yeah, he was streaming it live, but why hasn't he published
Wait,
a separate video showing that, clarifying his position of the original video? Why hasn't he done that?
Well, okay, first of all, so he did publish it once because we were streaming in his channel. 2, the comments is separate from Harris' position. You cannot, like, the comments, you could hold the people who are commenting responsible for their own comments rather than holding Harris responsible for the comments.
No.
Too.
You always hold the content creator is responsible for the comments in their comment section.
To a certain extent, not no. You're doing just too black and white. Okay, you are like if you notice that the content creator has done something to make sure that he has clarified his position and is not basically making it worse to attract that kind of behavior, even after that, even if that kind of comment exists, then you don't hold those comments, you don't hold the content creator responsible, right? So for example,
no, what they need to do, what they need to do is they need to say that the people who are commenting under this video, this is incorrect. Like, if you're watching my content,
oh my God,
this is not the belief that I espouse. That's what we should do.
Harris has constantly clarified that he doesn't demonize all Muslims, that he despises racist behavior, that he hates generalization. He has constantly done that. He has done the responsible thing of clarifying.
And then he generalizes
over and over. Every time Harris has generalized, when it was pointed out to him that this was generalization, he's corrected it.
So why does he continue generalizing?
Because I even sometimes generalize without noticing. Because it's more of a not noticing the words that your word choice more than the actual intention of generalizing. I am somebody that is very, very sensitive about not generalizing, right? And even sometimes I get that's pointed to, like, Armin, what you just said seemed like you're saying all of them. And I'm like, oh shit, thank you for correcting me. I didn't mean that. There is no way. So Harris, I have had more practice than Harris when it comes to being careful about not using general statements. And Harris has even acknowledged that. Harris is like, sometimes when I correct him, and I'm like, okay, Harris, what you just said seems like you're saying all of Muslims or all Americans. He's like, okay, thank you. This is why you're here. Like, he appreciates me doing that. So he does, even when he says things that seems like it's a generalization, it's not his intention. He hasn't had that enough practice. What?
But he doesn't argue in good faith. So why would you trust anything that he has to say?
Okay, not to do whataboutism. I am doing whataboutism, okay? But take a look in the mirror, man. Like,
no. Give me an example. You can't give me an example of when I've not argued in good faith.
You are one of the least charitable people I've ever seen. That when it comes to other people.
Listen, I'm only charitable to people who argue in good faith. If I ever seen basically a line of events where I've seen that person consistently argue in bad faith, then why would I give them that? Because
the leniency means that they will improve. Somebody's wrong takes or bad behavior, that is enough, or bad takes is good enough for you to hold them at, you have the least charitable interpretation of everything they do and everything they say for the rest of their lives. Okay, and that is not fair. Harris, even if he had views that may have been wrong, you can tell that he is trying. He is trying not to generalize. He is trying his damn best to make sure that he's more specific about the accusations that he's making. He is even trying so much that he wants to go more after racists and bigots, more time. He's spending more time looking for right-leaning bigots to make fun of them and call them out rather than just going after wokes. That's how much he's trying. So if you've seen somebody
on what basis do you arrive at this conclusion?
Based on what I'm seeing.
What have you seen?
Based on what I'm seeing, I'm seeing what he does. I'm seeing that he makes an effort. I'm seeing that he accepts these. Like, when I point out that his conclusions could have create a two-tier system based on race, he changed his opinion. Every time when I'm on the show with him, every time I point out that the way that he phrased that could be seen as an overgeneralization on Muslims and or Moroccans or anything, he then either changes the way that he phrased it, or he's like, okay, you say the way it should be said. Okay, he accepts that. Okay, because unlike you, the way I criticize Harris, I don't go for the jugular. I don't attack him personally, and I try to be charitable. And when you treat somebody like that, they actually welcome that, and they try to improve. Today, on today's show, for example, okay, he showed that he is like making more an effort to go after right-leaning people. And even after the show, he's like, yeah, these conservatives are like, we're spending so much time on wokes, but these conservatives are a bigger danger and we need to go after them. And he's actually spending more time than me going through right-leaning people's Twitter accounts and finding ridiculous stuff for us to bring on the show. And he did that, for example, today on the show. He's spending time and energy going and finding that and to expose right-leaning people. So I don't think it's fair for you to just have, I think like when you have your mindset on somebody, you become very unforgiving when it comes, even if they're trying to be better. And they don't respond very well to you because you don't let them, right? When you don't give a person a way out to be better because you already have sealed them as evil and completely closed that door on them, when they're talking to you, they don't feel enough motivation for them to show you that they have a better take, because it becomes personal, right?
When listen. When he starts providing better takes, I'm happy, and I think your pushback today on that channel was very good. I think, by the way, I think your pushback against him is the right way to go. But let me ask you a quick question.
Well, if it is if it is the right way, then maybe try doing it my way.
But I don't think he argues in good faith. I don't think he cares. I don't think I'm not saying he's a racist or a bigot or anything like that. I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares about being. I think he wants as many views as he possibly can get.
I know he
financially he's in a troubled position. I know he's in a troubled position financially. He's mentioned it in the past. So he's trying to maximize his profitability, and he knows that Moroccans losing their citizenship may get views from people on the right, etc., on his channel, which will help boost him in terms of monetarily.
You are so uncharitable. Like, it's unbelievable how uncharitable.
Because he lies. He lies to your face. No, in that conversation, do you know? Let me give you an example. Hold on. Let me explain. Let me explain before interrupting. When he kicked me off your show, right? And I've got the timestamps here. So at 2/8/29, he says, "I'm going to kick you off, you piece of shit." That's what he said, right? And then literally,
you deserve that though.
Listen. No, listen to what I'm saying. And then 24 seconds later, he said, "Pussy ran away." Literally within 30 seconds, he contradicted himself. He said, "Oh, I'm going to kick you off, you piece of shit." And then he said, "Pussy ran away."
No.
This guy is he's a plain liar. That's what he is. He'll lie to you, and you don't even realize it.
You have to let me speak. Can you shut up for a second? Okay. First of all,
I'm only joking. You told me to shut up. Go, sorry.
I know he cares. I know he actually cares, right? Because I talk to the man. I've talked to them so many times when we're not live, when we don't have a show. Okay, I can see that he is obsessed about getting the right position, even when he's not. Even when it's just me and him talking alone without any audience. His main obsession is about having the right position. And I know he cares about people, because when we argue, when he is evaluating when something is a correct position or not, he's in our discussions, in our private discussions, this man is evaluating the harm and benefit to society. That is his criteria when he's evaluating things. So I know that he's not about views, because that's the discussion I have had offline with Harris. I'm not saying all his positions I agree with. Sometimes I disagree with his position, but I know his intentions are to get the position that is the most beneficial to humanity. Okay, that's one thing. Second of all, I was there when he kicked you off. Okay, I saw what happened. Okay, he didn't kick you off. You are misrepresenting. See, I don't say like you're lying. Maybe you're misremembering. Okay, because I'm more charitable than you are when you're talking about people. Okay, because when you were down there, he was intending to bring you back up the show before last, right? While you were down there, he wanted, because he thought that you're constantly interrupting him. Again, I don't agree with this view, okay? But he thought that you will stay down there and then he will bring you back up for you to talk. And then for some reason, while he was talking, you disappeared from the back channel. And then he thought
he kicked me. Oh my God, he kicked me, man! I swear to God, he kicked me. I swear. How else?
You need to let me to. Okay, you need to let me. He couldn't have kicked you at that moment because he was speaking to the camera. What exactly the moment I saw that you got booted off the back channel, he was passionately speaking to the camera. So he wasn't the one. And he was shocked that you left. He thought that you ran away.
No, he said at 2:29. You can see he says, "I'm gonna kick you, you piece." Just after he kicked me, he said, "I'm gonna kick you, you piece of shit."
Is this the last stream or the stream before, like the first time? Because
no,
there was two.
Not the last stream. The first one.
The first one he didn't. The second one he said to you.
No, he said 2:29. We can go watch it now. We can go watch it now. It's there.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the first time that he said he kicked you, he said that he's gonna put you down there like this. Hold on, let me show you. Okay, like this. Okay, you're still down there. Okay, not kick off the stream. He put you down so he could speak, and then he's gonna bring you back up. But then while you were down there, for some reason, you disappeared from down there. For us, you disappeared. And the reason why he called you a coward, which is, again, that's not the kind of language I would use, even if you did leave. Okay, he thought that you could have just waited there and bring you back up, and he thought that you ran away. You thought that Harris kicked you out from the bottom there, and he thought that you just left. And when he said he's going to kick you, what he meant was like just put you on the back channel and then bring you back up. That's what he meant. That's what I saw.
Did I go to the back channel? I didn't see myself in the back channel. I just saw myself off the thingy, and I couldn't join it. There was no link there available. Yeah.
I saw you in the back when he kicked you. I still saw you down there in the back channel, and while we were speaking, while he was speaking, and while you were still down there in the back channel, then your icon disappeared. So he didn't completely kick you off the stream. He just put you in the back channel. I saw you there.
Right. Okay. Why did he do that?
Well, okay. So again, I don't know, but I wouldn't put you down there if it was me talking to you. Okay. So I don't.
Why not just mute me? He could have muted me.
Because he did mute you. You unmuted yourself.
Did he mute me? He didn't mute me. Oh, that was the second time. That was the second time. The first time he just.
So he muted you. You unmuted yourself, and the only way that you could make somebody stop talking, so that you could finish your thought without them unmuting themselves, is by putting them down. Because you can unmute yourself, but you can't bring yourself back up. So that's why. Why he put you down.
That was the second time. That was on the second show. I'm talking about the first one. On the first one, he kicked me.
Okay, but he didn't kick you off the stream. He just put you down there. Again, I'm
not
the first one.
He kicked me. He kicked me off the channel. He did.
No, I just told you. I saw you down there. When he put you down there, I saw you. Your icon was still there.
Are you sure it was the first one, not the second one?
Yeah, the first one. Because I remember you in the stream. You were telling him like I could see you were both wrong. Harris was wrong and you were wrong. Okay, and you both thought the other person is lying, right? Harris thought that you ran away, and in the live chat you're like, "Oh, you kicked me out. You kicked me out." And then he said that you ran away, and he said he's a coward because he kicked you out. And I was listening to both of you, reading your comments as listening. Like they both don't understand what happened.
Oh, okay. Was the link still there? I couldn't find the link in the community tab.
The link, I delete the link after we get to the 2-hour mark, so that nobody.
It makes sense.
Like I deleted it before this fight. By the way, I deleted the link before the fight, not because of the fight. Right.
Yeah, but I think it showed his true colors, didn't he? Like if he was in my face, he wouldn't have the same face. I think That
Anyways,
indicates
I don't even
just the
understand why
kind of
you guys.
person he is.
You're both okay. Here's the thing. You know, woke people are right. Okay, you're both you and Harris are guilty of toxic masculinity. Okay, because you're calling each other cowards and stuff like that. Okay, basically you're just trying to be like, who's the stronger alpha male? Okay, like it's both of you are being cringy, in my opinion, when it comes like, oh, he ran away, oh, he's scared, I'm tough, I wouldn't run away, blah blah blah. Who cares about these things? Okay, like I think, like, honestly, either one of you wanting to run away from the discussion, to me, I think that would be fair. It wouldn't cowardly. Okay, fine. Like you're not comfortable. I mean, I think you both made it uncomfortable for each other. I think like the way you're talking to him, if he actually did kick you out, I think it would be fine, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with somebody who's speaking to me like that. I think that would be fine. And the way also he talks to you, if you ran away, I would have been like, that's fine as well, because maybe you don't want to be spoken to like that. So both of you are calling each other coward, but I think it's like, if you are in an environment of somebody speaking to you in a tone that is that hostile, if you are not comfortable in being in that environment, just leave or kick that person off. So I think, I don't think like this whole accusation of is just a sign of toxic. I think like if you're telling a man that you need to be manly, and being manly means hearing the type of disgusting languages that you both use against each other, and you have to stand there and take it, then hey, you know what? I don't want to be manly. I'm a coward. Okay, fine. If that means not being in environments where people are speaking to me in a way that makes me upset, calling me coward.
But
what the hell is that?
But
yeah.
You basically, all right, fair. Listen, I tell you what, right? That video that he did about the Moroccans, yeah, wouldn't he have thought beforehand? Wait, hold on. I mean, wouldn't even a half reasonable person wouldn't they have thought beforehand that if I put out a video saying that people, because of their ethnicity, should lose their citizenship based on their ethnicity, that this is ethno-nationalist talking point?
So to me, okay, even I disagree with Harris's position. I don't think if you have a citizenship, you have to keep that citizenship. Okay, even if you join ISIS. Okay, and you could be punished under the law. I just want to clarify that I disagree with this position. And now apparently he disagrees with that position as well. Okay, but when I was listening to him, even though I disagreed with his position, he wasn't making a race essentialist argument. Okay, he was making a country. He was talking about a country, okay, that you came from a different place. It's not about what ethnicity you have. It was about a country with certain types of resources is making those resources and those benefits and those privileges available to you, a system, okay? And you as an outsider is coming and benefiting from that, and is not even grateful to that, okay? So it's not because of your ethnicity that he was thinking that maybe you don't deserve the citizenship. He was arguing from your lack of gratefulness as an individual, that maybe you don't deserve the citizenship.
Because I understand. This is the issue with that, though, isn't it? They're not outsiders, are they? They're not outsiders. They were born and raised in Belgium. Their parents were born and raised in Belgium. They are as Belgium as any other Belgian person, right? And yet he is making a race essentialist argument, because he's saying on the basis that they are not indigenous to the country, and he actually compares it to India. And he said, because someone said in India, I think someone in the comment section said, oh, in India the Muslims right as well. And he said that's different, because the Muslim Indians are indigenous to that land. They're from there, whereas these are second or third generation Moroccans. They're not Belgian, they're third or second generation, when in fact they are Belgian. They are Belgian citizens. They were born there, raised there all their lives. Why should they be appreciative more than any other white Belgian who riots when their club side loses?
Right. So again, those are one of the reasons why when you point out that Moroccans are not, when you point these things out, is the reason why he so quickly changed his position.
But he said in the video that they're second or third generation. He mentioned it. He said that they were not indigenous to the land. He made that point. Right. So that's an ethno-nationalist point.
Well, I mean, that's a wrong position. Okay, the reason why it's not even if it's an ethno-nationalist point, the reason why Harris Sultan is not an ethno-nationalist is because when you point that out, the problem with that to an ethno-nationalist is like, yes, exactly. That's why I like that position. But when you point that with Harris Sultan and argue that point, Harris Sultan like, okay, fine, I'll change my position. That's the main difference.
I agree. That's why I don't consider him an ethno-nationalist. But in that video, he was espousing ethno-nationalist talking points, and that's the impact that had on his audience. On that video, if you look at the comments section, they are all supporting the deportation of every Moroccan in Belgium. You know, go through the comment section.
Well. I see that in my own channel's comment section. I see that.
Well, you should be highlighting that and saying to people, these are not the views that I hold. Yeah,
I do.
Okay.
You're not.
Okay, I don't think he does as much.
Okay, well, he is. Okay, when it comes to this stance, I see that he's constantly improving. And I appreciate
I hope he does. I want him to. Be fantastic. I know no one will ever be perfect, but let me tell you something. In Vosh's live stream, one of his channels, right? Would you ever see people saying let's deport Moroccans? Would you see that? Would you say let's deport this people and that people? You wouldn't ever see that, would you? Because it doesn't bring that to the table.
But I see other bad positions.
I do. I agree. Yeah, okay. I agree. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say, Harris, if he improves, okay, which he is improving, okay, the thing that I'm telling you is no thanks to the way you criticize him. Okay.
No, I agree, Mike. The way I come across is really bad. I agree. I fully agree with that. Sometimes, it's to bring up a case study, and sometimes it is emotion, and I agree. And sometimes I should respond in a calmer way. I completely agree with you on that front. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's not. It doesn't need to be calm. Like I'm not calm. Okay, but you could be very passionate. I just think like you could be just charitable to people. Okay, here's the thing. Even if you're talking to an actual Nazi, okay, by the way, I have videos talking to Nazis. Okay. I don't call them scum. I don't call them, like, it got kicked off of YouTube, by the way, right away as soon as I posted it, right? But I try to figure out how I could make these people sympathize with my position, even if I'm talking to a self-proclaiming Nazi, let alone, somebody who's not even an ethno-nationalist. Because how else am I going to change their opinion?
I think it depends. I think it depends. I think some people, you just have to, if they're arguing in bad faith, like Destiny does, he goes in and he just destroys them. Yeah, and obviously he's a far better debater than I could ever be. But if he thinks that the person is not arguing in good faith and that all they care about is maybe the numbers, etc., get people grabbing an audience, etc., then they'll go out. And maybe you're right. Maybe Harris isn't that person. But I just, based on what I've seen, the consistency of his content and him just continually going over and making the same mistakes over and over again, what conclusion am I supposed to arrive at?
Well, you could look at the trend. First of all, I'm sure I have wrong conclusions that I'm making over and over again, right? But it's more about the effort than the conclusions at the position in time, right? And also the trend.
I think Harris was far better 4 years ago than, well, for example, maybe not 4 years ago, but when he was with what's his name? The friendly Muslim guy. Ex-Muslim? What's his name?
Why do you think Harris is now looking at right-leaning content and trying to see if he could also be balanced and criticize them as well? Why do you think he's doing it?
Well, if he is doing that, then all power to him. Honestly, I wish I can go on his channel and I can see when I go on videos, I can see a bunch of those videos. That would be brilliant, honestly.
He did that today on our last stream.
Yeah, but all right, fair enough. He did it on live stream, but how many people are watching the live stream? Maybe 25, 50 people, 30 people. Look how many views these videos get, 4,500. 3,500. It's a much larger audience on the videos. So if that was more consistent, I it'd be fair enough. But I hope he does, honestly. But and listen, it's nothing against you personally, Harris. If you're listening to this, I just want you to put out better content. Where you're not saying people should lose their citizenship based on their ethnicity. That's all I want. Is it too much to ask?
I mean, to be, I think he was saying based on nationality. Not even, it's still wrong, but not
No.
based. Yeah.
No. These were third generation Moroccans, so they were Belgian citizens.
I'll let him clarify. Do you have any criticism for me? Because you sometimes make it seem like I don't make any mistakes. I'm sure I think you're being very biased.
You used to be really bad. But not really bad, but you used to. Some of the crap. No, you were always fairly decent, but some of the things you've said in the past. But this was going back 3-4 years now, so I don't want to. The things you do now are. I think you had poor judgment in character in some of the people you supported in the past, but I think for example, what's his name? That kangaroo guy, that ex-Muslim. What's his name?
Oh yeah.
You remember you said, I remember I've seen a video of him where you say
atheism is unstoppable.
Yeah, I remember I seen a video of him saying he's more good than bad. You probably wouldn't say that now, but I think maybe you're making your conclusions based on only a little bit of content that you've seen of theirs rather than the whole content. But I don't think you should make strong statements in that instance.
I just think that if I am charitable to people, I have more of a chance of affecting them.
I agree, and you're good at that. And maybe I do my thing my way, and probably it might not be as effective. But absolutely, I agree with you. I think that is probably.
I think even when I talk to Atheism Unstoppable, there are certain things that when he talked to me was a little bit. He came across as almost being convinced by certain things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
So I think that level of charitability helps me, even if I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm wrong, because if I did know I'm wrong, I mean, I agree with you. Especially ever since he got off YouTube, he got more and more radicalized, right? So I don't know if but I think if he was constantly speaking to people like me, and because he was censored, and he was also he's constantly being exposed to people who are racist, constantly being exposed to racist people, right? So your community that you're surrounded by affects you, right? So if you want these other people not to be racist, what you have to do is not to demonize them, because then they're going to run away from you and go towards the community that is making them like that.
I think the balance is whether or not you're legitimizing their content, because I consider you 100% a liberal, center left, etc. And so you don't want to endorse what they're saying in a way,
right?
Do you understand? Yeah, because it could look like but you're endorsing them.
So if I talk to Daniel Hayataju, for example, right?
Yeah.
If I talk to Daniel Hayataju today, right, I would try to find things that we agree on, and I would be I would try to highlight and say you're right about this, because I think that would reduce the tension before we could continue speaking about other things. Do you think if I tell Daniel Hayataju that, I agree with you on this, you're right about this, do you think I would be endorsing him if I said that during a conversation?
No, I don't think you would. But
I will use that tactic. I do want to use that tactic. If I talk to Daniel, I don't want us to have our guards up. I think we will better be able to better understand each other if we're not fighting. So I will try to, every opportunity I found to see that we have an agreement on something, I will zoom in on it and I will highlight it. So, and I don't think that would be an endorsement of everything he does.
And I think that is an approach to take. Or you could approach. I don't know if you watched the Vosh conversation with Daniel, and he went after him, didn't he? He wasn't friendly with him, and maybe that didn't come across that well. I don't know what you thought of it.
So here's for example, here's where I would say in defense of Daniel. Okay, I genuinely think that he cares about people. right?
I
I
agree.
genuinely
Yeah.
think that Daniel thinks that what he's doing is making a world better place and saving people's lives and saving the future of humanity. Okay, so I don't think this guy is like a grifter or anything like that, right? So I would say that this person, even though I don't agree with the way he's doing it and I don't agree with his conclusions, I think he's genuine when it comes to his intentions. It comes across to me like that. So I don't know.
No, no.
Should I say? I mean, the guy is like anti-trans, anti-gay, advocates for the execution of people like me under proper Sharia state or whatever, right? If I make that compliment to him, would that he also advocates for child marriage, right? Marrying a 9-year-old. Would I be accused of endorsing all of that if I say that about Daniel? If I
No,
say
no,
that, yeah.
you wouldn't. But if you promoted him, if you said, "Oh, this is a good guy," or "He does more good than bad," then you are promoting him. Yeah.
What
But
if I
not if you agree
say?
with him on
What
statement.
if I say he's trying to do more good than bad?
No, I wouldn't even say that about him.
Mm.
I think
But
that
that would
could
be
push people
accurate.
to. It might be accurate, but it's the impact that it has on the audience. So
Mm.
that's probably the most important thing to take into account. That's my perspective. I'm not a YouTuber, but
Mm.
yeah, I always look at what would a layperson make of this, listening to this. I don't even take it from my perspective. So what would it like just the average Joe who's tuning into this channel, what would they take? What would they make of what's being said here? So that yeah.
I think that instead of trying to manipulate the way um, we talk about these things as a way to, I think we should just care about the truth. Even if in the short term, strategically, sometimes it makes it seem like we're losing this will lose us the battle. I think longer horizon, an obsession with what is true, um, is more important than strategically thinking about the narratives that is winning you the bigger audience.
It could
Maybe
be the
that's
case.
naive.
But
I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't know.
that's naive.
It's hard to find which strategy would work the best. We don't really know.
So since we
We don't.
don't know,
Yeah.
might as well just focus on what is true. Right.
I
Right.
mean, yeah. I mean, you could say that. You could say that. Absolutely. But what do you think? Are you watching the World Cup final today? It's on today between France and.
I
Um,
didn't even know it's today.
did you
So
know? Oh my God.
no. The only thing I followed with the World Cup was the politics with the Iran situation.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
say that the Iranian people celebrated United States defeating Iran?
I did, and they were booing the national anthem at the stadium
Okay.
as well. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you see in Iran, Iranians came out with the American flag in celebration of the U.S. win over the Iranian team
I
or
didn't
the
see that,
Islamic
but.
Republic? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hadn't seen the flags, but I heard, obviously the current Iranian team isn't very popular because they've held
Because it's
meetings with the,
a
yeah,
regime's team. It's not the people's team.
that's right. Although they have critics within the team, but I think especially Azamoun, the striker, he has been critical
Yeah,
by the
not
way,
good
and
enough.
yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I agree. No, I agree. And yeah, I mean, but the finals coming up, and I think it's a great example to show France's multiculturalism. And if you look at their team, it's mainly non-white.
Yes. Actually, that's a
The
good
top
point.
player, the best player in the world, the best player for them is arguably the best player in the world. His name's Kylian Mbappe. His father's his father's Cameroonian, and his mother's Cameroonian Christian, and his mother is an Algerian Muslim.
Yeah,
And I think,
why are Muslims constantly thinking like the France team? Like, how many Muslims do we have in the French team?
I think there's about 4 or 5 Muslims in the team.
Wait, almost half the team is
No,
Muslim?
sorry, that's in the squad. So in the squad of
Okay.
18,
Oh, okay.
17, about 4 or 5 of them are Muslim. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, they should Muslims maybe should cheer on the France team as well. It's so amazing that how France has been seen as like the anti-Islamic, anti-Muslim, the bigoted country where it's so multicultural. Like France has done welcomed so many immigrants in the country. I don't think like just because they have some strict secular laws, and I'm sure there's some racism that happens in France all the time. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but France as a whole has been more welcoming to immigrants than many other countries. So I mean, France is.
I think that the issue in France is with the North African community, especially Algerians, is that the treatment of, when the Algerian War of Independence was happening in the 60s, a lot of Algerians aligned themselves with France in Algeria, and they fought against their own countrymen to stay a part of France, and they were abandoned afterwards. After France left, they were abandoned and they were killed by the Algerians.
Those are France has committed a lot of war crimes in the past. Okay, but it's very unfair to judge France today based on what France was back then. France today is a much different country.
I agree.
Than France was back then. Much
different. But you have to understand, this wasn't like 100 years ago, 150 years. It was very recent, and it's still in the memories of people who are alive today.
Well, I know, but Japan less than 100 years ago was a very different country than Japan today. So, I mean, when it comes to changes, like, I mean, look at Germany. Germany. So like, it was only 100 years ago. Well, can you compare Germany today with Germany during World War II? I mean, that was less than 100 years ago. That's like night and day.
No, I agree, but I think that in France, it's still a lot of people. They were against leaving Algeria. They wanted to remain, even today. There's people, a large portion.
But that doesn't mean they endorse the war crimes.
But they might not endorse the war crimes, but they endorsed occupation of that country. They still endorse it to this day.
So did Algerians.
Yeah, I agree. There were Algerians who endorsed it as well. But I mean,
even today, some Algerians are thinking like maybe things would have been better if we were part of France. Even today, we have that.
Yeah, but Algeria at the time, it was a complete two-tier system. You had the Jews and the French.
I'm not saying they were right. I'm not saying they were right. I'm not saying they're right. Okay, but but however, today, North Africa is getting a lot of benefits from France's involvement in Africa.
I agree. Yeah, a lot of tourism, a lot of money coming in,
a lot of military support, a lot of financial stability because of the currency model that they have pegged to the
But go look at the surveys though, Armin. Do you remember that BBC survey that was talking about secularism growing in the Muslim world? It also asked the question, how many people wanted to leave their country? And it was something like 40% of Moroccans and Algerians want to leave their country because of the financial situation is so dire in those countries at the moment that they just want out. They want to come to Europe.
Yeah, they want to come to France. Yeah. Anyways, we should end this here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for this. I didn't expect it to go on this long, but no, thank you very much for having this conversation.
Yeah. Are you happy with how it went? It was okay. You're okay.
Yeah, I think you were very fair, and I hope I was fair as well.
No, actually, let me compliment you as well. Okay, you are very quick to consider. At least when you talk to me, maybe not when you talk to other people, but you are very good at admitting that maybe your position was wrong. And actually, I'm actually noticing that I haven't done that a lot recently, which makes me afraid because I'm sure I'm not right about anything. So maybe I'm being too dogmatic about a lot of my positions. So I hope I get an opportunity to change my opinions as much as you show that you're capable of. So. Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll watch Atheist Republic today, and if I come across anything, I'll be sure to email you. I'll put it in the comment section.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. By the way, you could go hard at me as much as you want. You don't for me, I'm used to it. So if you want to go use strong words, I'm fine with that. So that's good.
You don't have as many bad takes, but I think overall, the overall impact you have on the audience, even if you have, you do have the odd bad take, and I've mentioned that in the past, especially, concerning that Israel thingy video. I remember, I think I mentioned something in the comment section when you was, I think it was. But I'll get back to that anyway. But there are things I disagree with you on, but I think the overall impact you have is a positive one. And
what take on Israel was wrong? Let me think.
So it was you had on the guy with the beard, that comedian guy, Smile to Jannah, and you had a video of him critiquing Israel, and then you said at the end, this is why I can't remember it completely, but I put something in the comment section in that video, and where I disagreed with you, but I can't remember in its totality but the overall impact you have on your audience is very much a positive one, 100% positive one. And I hope that continues, my friend.
I hope so.
Because if you said the exact same things as Harris, I would be on you the same way. I don't care about personalities or anything like that. It's what is the impact you are having on the audience? What do they take away from this video or this comment, etc.? That's all I care about.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna end the recording here. Don't go away just a second. Okay, guys, make sure you like and subscribe and all that bell button. Leave a comment, please. Helps the channel. Okay, bye. Well, don't go away.